Good afternoon, everyone. I got a couple videos coming, but I just had to make one today. I'm going to release this as soon as I get it done. Put it on YouTube. I'll post the link or whatever. I just sat through probably one of the most brain dead classes I've probably ever sat through. Maybe in my lifetime. And that's saying a lot. Everyone's sat through some dumb lectures or some dumb classes, even when we were super young in elementary school, high school, whatever. But at the college level, seeing what people like believe and what they push, it boggles my mind. I can't comprehend some of this crap. So I want to just give you an insight on what I just experienced. So I'm in politics of immigration class here at St. Joe's University, and to say the least, this is just a wasteland of liberal nonsense. To just at the very least, liberal wasteland. All the professors who just sit there and believe they are on this, not even a power trip. They're just so arrogant in what they believe and what they push in their curriculum, and like they feed off of it from their dumb students. And it's crazy too, because I don't get good grades. I don't. And like a lot of these kids get really good grades and whatnot, which we all know grades just kind of signify that you can be disciplined. Like, I guess I'm not disciplined, the fact that I'm not on top of my shit all the time, but it doesn't even begin to define someone's intelligence in the very least. Now, I sat through this class and like I rolled the class. I just had it at 12:30. Today's Tuesday, November 28th. Okay. I sat through this class and I show up, I'm kind of just in my zone, headphones in, whatever, and then as soon as professor gets going, I obviously pay attention and whatnot, and I listen. And I have a tough time even sitting there because like I've never been this boiled up after a class. And I'm gonna get into why in in this video. And I hope I don't go too long because I know the attention span out there isn't very, very deep, to say the least. Some people can't even. They're used to their 10-second clips and gifs and whatnot. Whatever. I'm different. So I'm going to ramble for a little bit for some of you. Now, we're talking about how there's this anti-immigration sentiment in the country, and like that is what Trump is pushing, and that is what a large amount of people in this country believe, and it's based on race, it's based on hate, it's based on xenophobia and all this nonsense. I literally hear this come out of some girl's mouth in class, and she's talking about her race and ethnics and politics class, which I don't take. I will never take it now, considering what a lot of the kids in the class, I guess, are in this class together. I'm never taking this because it's just, I can just tell it. What they're spewing is just nonsense. And it's crazy to think that you would come and you would pay all this money and you would study and you would do all this stuff and you would think from universities having this hierarchy of understanding and higher education, you think people would come out a little smarter than they came in, but it's just the opposite. People are getting so dumb and just stupid on just simple issues, and everyone gets so tied up in, oh, if you don't want immigrants coming here, then you're racist. And that's none of it. None of it has to do with actual immigration. It has to do with illegal immigration. People coming through the borders illegally. That's all this is. It's not anti-immigration. That's just crap. Look at all the people, even in Trump's family, who came here legally as immigrants and now are the first lady from wherever in Eastern Europe. Like, it shows you can come here legally and make something of yourself. And there's so many stories about this, but I have to sit there And I have a tough time even like speaking up because I'm literally, it's almost like it's the way the way I felt. I literally just told this to my roommate. I almost booted. I almost threw up after this. I literally had a pit in my stomach from like people thinking they're somehow intellectually above like someone with my point of view. And I just sit there, and the professor sits there with his glasses and his fake intellectual mindset, and he just sits there, and anytime someone brings up something about Trump or the anti-establishment movement in this country, it's just firing at it with all this just all these just false analogies and false equivalencies and just arguments that are based off nonsense. So here's one of the things that was brought up in the open discussion in class. This girl goes, "We're learning in our race ethics in politics class that this country was founded on whiteness, and that is the reason why there's so much oppression and there's not enough diversity." First of all, that is not what this country was founded on. Now, some of you, yes, the founders were not perfect. A lot of them owned slaves. This is well-known knowledge, but it's not what the country was founded. It wasn't founded on this hierarchy. And clearly they're spewing all this nonsense out there. They're clearly not getting taught any history. It's literally just, oh, it's racist, it's this, it's sexist, it's all this garbage. I can't handle it. It makes me go nuts. I'm literally fired up right now. You can tell. I'm at a breaking point here, because it's like, you would think there'd be like actual constructive arguments, but it's just this, and it's some white girl saying this, some privileged white girl who's just trying to get brownie points with our teacher. She's sitting there at whiteness and just spewing. You're white, honey. Like why are you bitching? Like, people are just sitting there bitching about how there's institutional racism, and not one of them can give me one instance of it. Yes, in the past there's been that, but as government created slavery, it also ended it. So to say that there's a conspiracy against minorities in the country, it's nonsense. It's complete nonsense. And I sit there and just I literally just I fell in my hands like a couple times, just like I almost walked out. Like, it would have been absurd, but like I almost walked out, because it was just like, this is what we're paying so much money for. It's just, what is going on in some of people's minds? Like, you're not even close to thinking. You're not even on the scale of even having a like intelligent thought and putting it out there in a good way. And all this just rhetoric, and you see people sitting there listening to her going, yeah, I think this is I think you're right. People agreeing and whatnot. And then you have one kid who, I don't know any of these people personally. I just know them from being in classes. I don't really have that many friends here in the political major department. Like, I don't think I could even sit there and talk to some of these people without exploding, or at least having a civilized argument, which would end up in just virtue signaling, triggered nonsense. So he's like, it's really, if you look at how dumbed down the population is, you can see that Trump's message of build the wall was his message, and that's why so many people gravitated towards him, and that's why so many people voted for him and whatnot. And like, no one's and they don't even look at the other side. They're just saying like that was like one aspect of the campaign and his administration now. And regardless of what you think on that, you don't even mention that that's not what it was. It was Make America Great Again. That was the slogan. And on the other side, you have, I'm with her. I'm with her? What does that even mean? You're with the woman who took millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia, where women are basically second-class citizens, where they're in all those Islamic countries, not all of them, but most, that if you're a gay person, you're basically pariah. You're even in danger of being killed, thrown off buildings. Like, this is not made up. People say, "Oh, it's the religion of peace." Give me a break. This is just garbage. People are sitting there like, "Oh, it's a religion of peace." Yes, a majority of Muslims practice their religion in peace, but there is a percentage of people who are fundamental Islamicists. That's what you call it, Islamicists. It's the same as the nutty fundamental Christians. Like, a lot of people don't understand. It's like, yes, there's a lot of nutty fundamental Christians, but you don't see them going out and shooting up places, or in very rare instances you do, but you don't see them sacrificing themselves for Allah and doing suicide bombing. And this is not just in the US. You should go look at all the violence in these countries between the Sunni and the Shiite Muslims, and all the theocracies that run those places, and Sharia law. Tell me that Sharia law is somehow just. You clearly don't know what you're talking about. And it's sickening to see people like this kid just ramble about how I'm with her. Like, this is not even a point. It's like, I'm with a woman who takes money from, she's so for women, but she'll take money from people who systematically oppress women. Like, you're out cold to think that that's some like heroic stance, stronger together. What does that even mean? And you had the results of it too, which is, I mean, geez, like, thank everyone that we don't have her running shit right now. I mean, to think that you would have this warmonger criminal in office right now instead of Trump, you would not be living in the same. You would be living in a more deteriorated shithole than we were going towards, than the whole 8 years of Obama. That's why no one wanted 8 more years of Obama, who just was ruining the country, people. Like, Jesus. And it gets down to everything, because everyone goes, "Oh, you're not, that's and it's like Trump is dividing people based on race," when there's just, what are you talking about? Like, you can name, I heard it several times during this classes. He called all Mexicans rapists. Not true. Go watch the video of it, or go read the transcript of it. That's taken out of context. Like, it's taken out of context beyond what you could even imagine. All of it is. That's not true. You did not say that. So go actually read the transcript instead of reading the mainstream media headlines where Trump calls all Mexicans rapists and criminals. No. He was talking about a percentage of the illegal immigrants who come here in this country, and there's been hundreds of cases of rapes and murders and drug crimes. Give me a break. And I heard that several times. He's trying to split them. You know what split the country was? People and Obama himself saying, if you don't agree with me, then you're inherently racist. If I don't agree with your political moves and your political stances, I'm racist. Seriously, people, this is why there's so much tension, because there's so much misinformation targeting people that they'll just believe it and they'll go with it, and that's what they stand. That's what's backing their argument. So when you talk to someone like me, expect your head to spin off of your body, because you could sit there and say, "Oh, well, all the people on the right believe this, all the people on the right believe that," and I don't like this whole identity politics nonsense that if you're a certain race, you should be voting for this party, or you're a certain race, you should be voting for the other one. No. That's what's splitting everyone apart, is you saying that if your skin is a certain color, you should be voting this way. And it's like, I'm sorry, did Trump get more Hispanic vote and black vote than Mitt Romney, or am I making that up? Why don't you go check out the demographics of the voting? I mean, go look at it. If he was racist towards Mexicans, explain to me how he gets a higher Hispanic percentage of the vote than Mitt Romney in 2012. You can't explain that. You can't, because your arguments are based on false false facts. And it just drives me to the brim. I sit there and it's everyone in the it's I honestly, I don't think if I could bring up a point anyone would be agree. It would be an outrage to disagree with someone in this class. And I've been planning to almost record it if I can't get video, like pristine video quality, but I want to record some of the conversations that go on, because like I want people to actually hear it. Like, I want people not to just take my word for it now, even though I just lived this. What time is it now? It's 4:00. I lived this 3 hours ago. I was sitting in this just hellhole of ideas, and and you would think that like that young people with the internet at your fingertips would have some inclination to go actually find out the truth and not just believe what the mainstream media spews out. I don't get it. I really don't. And like, people disagree all day, but when you bring it down to, if your argument is I'm not agreeing with you, your side, your view is racist, then you've already lost. You're not even making a point. You're just using this magic word that just is supposed to shut me up. Like, no, I refuse. No, you're making it worse by just believing in this and trying to virtue signal everything. And we get on topics in this class about it's more about immigration and just the modern twist of it now. Like, there's so many aspects that go into that. But to say that the administration now, that Trump's administration is anti-immigration, is just false. It's anti-illegal immigration. There's a reason why it's illegal, people. If you illegally cross into Mexico from, I'm trying to actually I have my globe here, my trusty globe. Let me see here. Belize and Guatemala. If you're in Guatemala and you illegally cross into the Mexican border and are caught, you are deported. Look it up. Why is it any different than our country? People think it's like, oh, you don't understand that it's not racist at all. It's not targeting. It's just targeting illegal activity. It's not, people come to this country legally, I mean, and get their visas and whatnot, and get their green cards, and start their path towards citizenship. And that is what is prided in America. Well, you can come here as an immigrant with nothing, and you can build something that's worth money, and you can give to other people. And it's just this whole, and I know all of them are just Bernie nutballs that just follow Bernie. People, like, I'm sorry if you disagree with this, but I would love for you to call me, comment on the video. I'd honestly appreciate a call so I can talk and not use 270 characters. That's not enough. I would be writing essays all day and arguments. I'm not going to do that. It's just it's too easy to just be so like ignorant behind your little screen. That is somehow evil, that whatever. But just because you put the word democratic in front of socialism does not make it any less awful. Like, it just doesn't make it any less ridiculous. And you can say, oh, well, it's never been tried properly. No, it's been tried successfully, people. That is the goal, is to get you know, all these people are like, I find it more ridiculous. Like, I'm not religious in any sense of the word, but some of these people who are on the left, who don't believe in God, I find it more ridiculous that you fawn at the state more than people who believe in God or believe in Jesus Christ, or even Muslims who believe in Muhammad. Like, Islam's in its own category of craziness, but I find it crazy that some people are just, oh well, I'm this atheist that I'm so I'm so intellectually above everyone, and I want the government to do everything for me. I want it to give me, I want it to feed me. I want it to clothe me. I want it to give me a job. I want it to give me property. No, no, no. It's never gonna work, people, and it never has. If all you democratic socialists want to are gonna bitch about being in America, then please go live in socialist Venezuela. That is a complete shithole right now, where they're eating their own pets and they're killing zoo animals because they can't even feed their own people. And you'll say, "Oh, well, that's not the true nature, the true ends of socialism." Wrong. It's exactly what the ends are. Complete state power. And I don't get why people are like, "Oh, well, the government, these corporations, the 1%." None of you understand that a lot of the problems that happen with corporate corruption, and even just looking back on the housing bubble and the financial crash that ensued, that was, there's blame on both sides when I'm saying there's blame on the corporations in the big banks that were selling people faulty mortgages and just in AAA rated subprime loans. There is blame on the corporations, but there's more blame on the government that allowed it to happen. There's more blame on the Fed. And for a lot of you, I understand, like, Bernie's message is appealing. He is, in a way, he has good. I remember first listening to Bernie and being like, wow, he seems to be anti, like, big government. He's like he's anti Wall Street. But Wall Street, it is a problem. It's not the problem. And he's spoken out against the Fed. But check the records, people. He can be against the Fed all day long in front of the cameras. When it came to the audit the Fed bill, he did not vote, and his vote was deciding this. He did not vote for the audit. So don't give me this whole, "Oh, well, he's against the Fed, so he's against all this." No. He's paid off by the same people, the same, and he works with all these other billionaires, with like George Soros and all these criminals. I advise people right now to go do some hard research on George Soros, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Democratic donor in our era, and and go watch the 60 Minutes interview too, where he basically admits to ratting out his own Jewish people during Nazi Germany occupation because he felt that if he didn't do it, someone else would. And he's overthrown, with his financial power, he's overthrown several countries, including Thailand. He admits it. He admits it. He admits he does it. And people think this is some crazy conspiracy theorist. Those are the people funding the Democratic Party. So when you want to go after the big billionaires, you somehow just don't agree with you don't even know who George Soros is, and he wants it to be that way, because if you actually started looking into it, you'd be like, "Whoa, wait a second, why am I even for this party or for this movement?" I really advise some of you to just go, once you start to go into his whole history and what he's doing now, and his Open Society Foundation and all these like foundations that he pours billions of dollars into, trying to create more division to take down countries. It's crazier than a movie, people. He's a literal, it's just been said before, but he's like a real life James Bond. He's a real life movie villain, like in the flesh. And it's just, when you're not aware of that, it seems crazy that he would overthrow, but no, he's doing it he's a philanthropist. He's giving money. He's giving money to countries he's overthrown. And it boggles my mind. Is you could say like, "Oh, he's a philanthropist." Well, I'm sorry, if you're in a non-profit foundation like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they don't pay dick for taxes. They don't pay dick. Once you're in that bracket of non-profit, you don't pay taxes on all those billions. So don't get me started with just like, "Oh, these evil corporations." Yes, there's some really bad people at the top, but they're there because there's power in government to allow them to do that. And once you understand that, you'll start to realize why lobbying is so powerful. If lobbying wasn't powerful, that would mean you wouldn't be able to just lobby to your politician to get favors done for yourself. If government didn't have the power to enact ridiculous laws, or if it just stayed out of certain industries that it's ruined, you would have way more prosperity. You would have way more wealth among the people. So I guess I'm just kind of heated at this point, but I mean, it's sickening to me to just hear some of the garbage at this school, and it literally blows my mind, because like you would think with all this information literally at your fingertips that you would be in this delusional state where you're like you want everything to be done by the government. You want them to come in. You want free education. You want free healthcare. No, it doesn't work, people. It doesn't work, and go look up why it doesn't work. I don't have the patience right now to explain it, even though I will get into that in another video. But I guess in wrapping up quickly, how long have I gone here? All right, yeah, so almost 30. I guess wrapping up is I would love to hear from anyone who views this. And I know some of my conservative friends at other colleges, and like, you know who you are, who agree with me on a lot of this stuff. Is I would really enjoy your comments, your intakes. Text me, call me, whatever, email me. Like, please give me your insight on what you experience at your university, because not all universities are like liberal wastelands like mine, but a lot of them have this hierarchy of professors that are they're so full of themselves, where you think, like, you start to think like, wow, like he has a like PhD in this, like maybe he does have a point with that. And then you never go and look it up, or like try to think about the other side of it. But I guess in closing, there'll be some other videos coming soon. I might do another one later today, but I had to ramble and rant for a second, because like I said, I almost threw up after walking out of class for an hour and 15 minutes or whatever the hell it is. It was that sickening to me. I'm sure some of you have experienced this. I'm sure some of you think that I'm sure some of you are, some of the liberals out there, I'm sure some of you sit in their class and go, wow, like all these people agree with me. Like I'm in the right. Like the teacher agrees with me. Like they know what they're talking about. When if you heard the opposite point of view, or someone that could actually articulate it decently and actually be calm and have a conversation in a proper debate in the form of a civil argument, I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure, and like I'm expecting comments and whatnot. Please talk to me about whatever, and please go look it up yourself, so then you can actually, like, most of these people, I'm telling you, their heads I would make your head spin off of your body if I could have like a sit down or even like a argument over the phone, because it's very difficult to debate people over text and over tweets and whatnot. But this is part of my message, and I have a whole list I had a list for one of my other videos that'll be out kind of soon, depending on, I'm still having trouble figuring out the video now. I'm like filming it on my computer, which is kind of shitty, but I have a whole list of stuff to get into, and I have a whole nother, like, I have a yellow piece of paper somewhere that just is a bunch of topics about like what's going on today and like my views on it. But I just wanted to give you my insight on the liberal wasteland that is a majority of universities across the United States. So yeah, thank you for listening, and if you disagree, please contact me. If you agree, please share it with your friends, family, whatnot, and let me know if you liked my message, my podcast, I guess you'd call it, and if you would want more videos like this on the university aspect. There'll be other videos about specific legislation and and I'm really into just like the history of everything, because like you said, like I said, I mean, is there's so much misinformation about just history, so then people automatically have a distorted view on reality, true reality, not this false, just socialist nightmare that you think is God. So thank you for listening, and I will see you I will see you in my next video. Thank you.